Hi, welcome to another episode of Notable Music Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Steislinger. Today's episode features interviews and performances with Shawn McGregor of the Pittsburgh Drum Exchange, Adam Merulli of A-Money in the Downtown City, Mike Berginc of As Ladders, and Angela Autumn. Up first is my interview with Shawn McGregor. And thank you all again for coming. I'm sitting here talking to Shawn McGregor, owner of the Pittsburgh Drum Exchange and also a drummer himself for the Common Heart. And I just wanted to get started with you, Shawn. We'll talk about the Drum Exchange and what kind of gave you an interest to start your own drum company.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. So Pittsburgh Drum Exchange is about a year-old venture for me. And it started... there was notably a store here in Pittsburgh called Drum World that was in the South Hills, and Drum World was there for like 40 years.
It's not there anymore.
It is not.
Wow, I didn't.
Well, Drum World was there for about 40 years, and Stan, a gentleman named Stan Buswell, owned it, and Stan really garnered a great community for drummers there. I grew up going there, and my now business partners grew up going there and teaching there. And those business partners are David Throckmorton and a gentleman named Lou Ross. And so working drummers and playing through the city and playing and all over, I got to be really good friends with them. And they're, in large part, big mentors of mine, particularly Dave. He's, if anyone is familiar with his playing, it's like he toured with Maynard Ferguson for a really long time, and he's unbelievable. I mean, even as guys who've done it on a really high level, Throck can throw down with the best of them, and he's unbelievable. So for me, just always being friends with him, we used to talk all the time, like, hey, if the rumors of Drum World closing were rampant for about 5 years before it actually happened, and so when we started hearing those rumors, we were like, hey, if this happened, maybe we should do this on our own. And I worked for a very big music retailer for a very long time, for nearly 10 years. And
did that kind of make you want to branch out?
It's interesting because I was 20 when I joined that company, and they're the biggest in the industry. There's no disputing it. And you start learning the ins and outs of it, but you also realize where the big disconnects are of being such a big company. Mm-hmm. And so they're, for one reason or another, and not even to demonize them, it's a product of being as big as they are. You really lose any kind of local feel and feel for the people who are shopping in your store and what people want. So in knowing those guys, I was like, hey, it would be really cool to kind of take a run at this and running a really great drum shop without the training wheels on and without the confines of working for such a big company. And that for us was just, yet again, being a reflection of the people who shop there and the people who we're friends with, and knowing, Pittsburgh being a big city, but not really that big. I feel pretty confident in saying that I know most of the drummers who work on a regular basis. And a lot of them would come to the store and we just wouldn't have what they were looking for. So we kind of wanted to do that. And, the fact that all three of us are playing professionals, touring and doing what we can, I think we're able to relate to people on a certain, a different level than, one of those big box store. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think people come to us with a little bit of credibility inherently, hopefully. So that's what we did. And so when Drum World actually closed, the three of us put our heads together and we're like, cool. Let's go. So I left my job and then we started this, and it's been a lot of fun. And we're a year in, doing well and hoping to expand and get involved in different things, teaching lessons, repairing drums, and we do all that now, but we're just looking to expand it. So it's been a lot of fun. It's really cool.
Does being a musician and a drummer yourself affect how you run your business?
Of course. I mean, being that we do sell to drummers, you feel for what those people are doing. So like in the event, not that anyone's looking to get anybody, we know we know what it's like to be musicians. All of us have been there, and sometimes you just need a cheap cymbal stand that's going to get you through a gig. I don't need that to explain that to anybody, and no one needs to explain that to me. So you feel for these people, and it's about building a community. Like, yet again, in my previous life for the bigger company, I heard there was this story that went around the company pretty rampantly about the Seattle location in the early 90s. And when those bands were going on, the drum shop in this very big music store would air the Seattle Seahawks games on Sundays, and all the drummers of Pearl Jam and Nirvana, Dave Grohl, and all these guys would show up just to watch the Seahawks game with other drummers. And I was like, man, that's... drummers inherently, other instrumentalists and singers, there's a community, like singer-songwriters like to be friends with other singer-songwriters because there's commonality there. But it seems that drummers, just by virtue of the instrument, in the sense that it is such a communal thing, drummers are a weird breed. Like, drummers love being drummers, or drummers love being friends with other drummers.
Have you seen Fred Armisen's newest stand-up special?
I have my critiques, but I think it's funny.
Okay, yeah. I say that because, like, he's clearly a drum guy.
Right.
Like,
and drummers, I mean, like, guitar players, especially lead guitar players, it seems that, like, there's an inherent, like, ego aspect to that, because there has to be, like, to be that guy out front and being ridiculous, like, you have to have some kind of confidence, like,
So the drummers always show up on time.
The drummers are, well, I don't know about that. Ask my bandmates about that. That's not true. But saying that, I feel like when we have couches in our store, we have a TV, we have a record player. Like, if every drummer in town wanted to just come out and hang out for hours and not buy anything, I'd be totally cool with it. Like, I want to be, I think I'll lose interest in doing this if I don't feel that I'm serving some kind of purpose to other people who are in my spot. And that's the way my business partners feel about it. I'd rather be like, hey man, like, I got this cymbal in, and I could probably sell it for a lot more, but I know it's what you're looking for. Like, can you just come in and I'll get you a deal on it? And that kind of vibe really appeals to me, and it's very different. And I think, I don't think anybody wants to buy their guitar or their drum set from Best Buy. Right. You know what I mean? And that's not the company I work for, but you know what I mean? Right. Nobody wants that. And I think everybody wants to know the cool mechanic on some level, if you know what I mean by that. Absolutely. Everybody wants to know the guy who isn't going to fuck you on your car inspection. Can I swear on here?
Of course.
All right, cool, fuck. I just love that aspect of it, where it's like, I get this really cool killing old cymbal in, and I know that Brian Wolf plays, old soul stuff. Right. It's gonna make his shit sound amazing. Yeah. Cool, Brian, you need to come get this. Right. And it's not just because I want to sell him something; it's because I know he's gonna sound great with it, and that's what I want. So, yeah.
How do you balance the life as a musician and the life as a business owner?
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot, but it's striking. It's striking how many similarities are in both. Especially when you start touring and you start trying to run a band on a bigger level. Like, it's like running a business. It really is. With there's passion in both. Mm-hmm. There's ownership. There's skin in the game with both. I mean, I love them both. I love them both for very different reasons. But. It's, ask my wife how good at balancing I am. She might give you a different answer, so.
So where can we find information about not only the Pittsburgh Drum Exchange, but also your musical endeavors?
So a few different places. Pittsburgh Drum Exchange is Facebook, Instagram, PittsburghDrumExchange.com, Twitter is Pittsburgh Drum Exchange. The obvious ones, all there. The music endeavors is obviously my number one is the Common Heart. We've got a lot of exciting things going on with that. And then I have a few other projects. I have a band called Funky Miracle that's all New Orleans funk because I'm obsessed with it. Yeah. And I have some great players in that. And I'm also in a project called the Ruckus Brothers with Diego Burns, and where we just do different projects all the time. So that's theruckusbrothers.com, and then Funky Miracle on Facebook.
Cool. And real quick about the Common Heart, what can we expect from the Common Heart coming up?
Common Heart has a new record coming out here in the fall. I'm expecting a late fall release. You know, this will be our second full-length record. We've been touring quite a bit. We've been all over the country with a few great bands, Los Lobos and JJ Gray and Mofro in particular, and doing our own stuff. We just got off Peach Festival, and we're going to be doing Outlaw Festival with Willie Nelson and Van Morrison. And but the second record, it's can I talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
nope, that's it. See you guys.
So the second record, I have a really good friend by the name of Jeremy McDonald, who I went to high school with, and Jeremy is one of the most musically inclined and naturally gifted people I've ever met, and he's been that way since 5th grade. It's sickening how talented he is, and he could tell you what pitch your car horn is, and he's right when you test him on it. It's crazy, but he produces records. He lives in New York. He's a very talented engineer. He works he owns his own company called Mason Jar Music, and they're kind of like a all-inclusive music like venture, I guess you would call it. You go to them, they have visual artists employed for your, like, they're there for everything. They do their own mixing, mastering, and the guys that they employ are insane. I mean, records like John Mayer's Continuum came was mastered and mixed by them, and like, so I out of the blue one day, I just called Jeremy and said, we would love to do our next record with you, and his schedule is a bitch. But he was like, hey, I have this little tiny stretch off, if you guys can come to New York and just bang out this record in 6 days, we'll do it. And I'm like, cool. We rallied the band. We all hopped in the van, went to New York for a week, and we worked 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. Tracking everything live at this beautiful studio called Gradwell House. It's actually in New Jersey, but and it's, you know, we just would. He was really good at challenging us, because we would play the songs like we would be playing them live, and he'd go, cool, yeah, that sounds really good, but the bands that you guys want to say that you're like, you know, they wouldn't do that. Right. They would make some other choices, and not that the choices that you're making are bad, there's just better ones. Right. And he would challenge us to find those better ones. And so while simultaneously I'm really proud of it, it was also one of the most challenging things I've ever done musically, and it was exhausting. But now, like, and then you go through all the mixing and the mastering of it, and I had to take about a month away from it, because I was just so drained, so burnt out on it. And now when I listen to it, I'm like, shit, really good. It sounds pretty good, you know. And it's hard now, you know. The critiquing phase is over. Right. It is what it is. Right. I'm just ready for people to hear it, and ready for people to, you know, kind of give us the feedback and stuff. But we're really excited about it. I can't wait to hear it. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can't wait to hear it. Yeah, we're excited. Yeah, for sure. Well, once you release it, I'd love to have the full band on sometime. I'm sure they'd be into that. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Awesome. Shawn McGregor of Pittsburgh Drum Exchange and in the Common Heart, as well as other musical ventures. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Yep. All right, we'll be right back with a performance from As Ladders.
You can call me to write me off. You can show up to take me back down. You can call me a deepest cut. I'll still show up and take the next round. This compass shakes my nerves. You can get what you deserve, just hanging on up. Ooh. you can get what you deserve. I'm just hanging on the wood. What you call nobody won, and what you need nobody can take. You can call me a favorite thing. Come on through me, find my way back. This karma shakes my nerves. You can get what you deserve. I'm just hanging on the wood. This karma shakes my nerves. You can get what you deserve. I'm just hanging on the wood. To go and see what I find. Yeah. Come on through me, I'll find my way back. Come on through me, I'll find my way back. Come on through me, I'll find my way back. Come on through me, I'll find my way back.
And we're back here with Mike Berginc and Adam Merulli. Mike and his guitarist Will just performed, what was the name of that song?
Boomerang.
Boomerang, a song by As Ladders, Mike's project. And we're also here with Adam Merulli. And Adam, you have a project of your own, correct?
Yes, A Money in the Downtown City.
A Money in the Downtown City. Well, thank you guys both for joining us here today. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about your interest in music and how it developed. Something I like to ask my guests is, what is your earliest musical memory? So, Mike, why don't we start with you?
Okay, let's see. Well, I think like maybe most people that have religion in their lives growing up, it was definitely in a church, listening to hymnals and singing hymns and listening to organ music. It's got to be it. I mean, other than that, my dad had some records, and later on in life, I sort of inherited those records. But the music, for the most part, was either on the radio, a lot of hits on the radio around the 80s, Dirty Dancing and stuff, and church.
Adam, same question.
Dirty Dancing?
Dirty Dancing in church?
On the way back to and from church.
Okay.
So
with grandma.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting that question, but that's a good one. Definitely the radio. It's not really the style that I perform a lot, but like 90s R&B, like Boys to Men, All for One, Babyface, like that. I was into that stuff, and I just sort of got into it that way, and then through, I guess, rock and roll radio and listening to Oasis and different bands growing up. I guess just through the radio and hearing stuff through that night, Wallflowers, definitely listening to them, and then just things kind of evolved from there. And then my parents' record collection, and just kind of hearing things and putting things in context.
When did you want to start performing music or playing in bands, or were you in the school band or anything, Adam?
For me, it was more, I was always a performer, and I had these ideas and I was more from the poetry side, and so I would write, and I would have these poems, and then I would see in high school friends and different people making songs, and I had that part of it, but I started playing guitar around that time, so it was then I thought, well, if I see other people doing it, I can do it too. So more from having a concept lyrically and then adding music to it, and then it just sort of developed over time, solo, and then became more of a band thing now.
Very cool. Mike, same question. When did you decide you wanted to perform or like pursue music?
It wasn't until college, so it was further along than typical high school years where you're discovering music. I was really into through friends and relatives, mostly pop punk. I have a few bands from that era that I still kind of am nostalgic about and really like the energy. Like Saves the Day is one. But yeah, so I was sort of around it in high school, and then it wasn't until college I did my first open mic with a friend of mine, Shane, and he was the guy on the track team. I was on the track team in college that had the guitar, and just one of those people that had a great ear for melody and very outgoing, which I'm a little reserved. So we went up on stage and did an acoustic open mic, and it was an exhilarating sort of first experience, and I've sort of rode that wave kind of.
Was that around here, around Pittsburgh?
It was Eastern PA, Easton, Pennsylvania, Lafayette College. Shout out Leopards. I think they're the Leopards. Maybe they changed it. I don't know.
Can't really know for sure.
But yeah.
So you both write music. What is your process like when you sit down to write a song, Mike?
I've tried to learn what kind of gives me the best results, I think. So I'm a revisionist in the sense that I come up with an idea, and then I want to go over it again and again. I also kind of like document it. So if anybody's followed me on social media, probably the last year and a half, 2 years, a lot of the song ideas I've been either videotaping or just putting them down on MP3 and just putting them out into the world. So it's kind of like, I think it's a combination of being a perfectionist and being a bit introverted, but at the same time kind of searching for a great idea, a great melody, a great chorus. So it's, behind the headphones with the guitar, sheet of paper, not really too much into just, using keyboards, technology, and writing down lyrics, coming up with melodies, and then recording them, and then revisiting them kind of over and over and over and over again.
Adam, what's your songwriting process like?
I don't know. I would say definitely on the lyrical side first, and it's sometimes it's like lightning. I think those are the best songs when they just something hits you, or something happens to you, or maybe you see a movie or you hear another song, and then you just kind of spill out all these words, like pages of words, and then you go back to them. So I write the words first, and then I go back musically and try to put a frame around it and make it into how it would best suit the story or the whatever it is I'm writing, the poem or the song, and make it into something. So it's never, I don't know, sometimes then I go back, kind of like Mike was saying, and I'll revise and I'll take things more in a sculpting sense. I'll have it, then I'll sculpt it into the what I want it to be. But the best ones, I think, are the ones that just come spontaneously, and then you get that feeling, and you're like, this is a good one. But you still maybe work on it or adjust it, but I think the best thing is to not let anything get in the way and let it happen, although structure is a good thing too after the fact.
You both have recordings out with your respective projects, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And Adam, you just released something relatively recently,
We just
right?
released. I'm super proud of it. I'm gonna sound like I'm. No, okay. So we just released a project here, an EP, 5 songs recorded down in Lawrenceville here, not too far away, produced by John Miller, and it is I couldn't be. I don't know if anybody's heard it, or I would really suggest that we do a different. Every song's almost a different style. There's different messages in each song. Some are more serious, some are more lightweight, lighthearted. But it's out all the major outlets. It's called Night Vision, and I couldn't be more proud of it.
Well, let me ask you each about the recording process. When it comes to your own material, do you like to have a lot of input when you're going to record? Mike, why don't we start with you?
So I've recorded with As Ladders 3 times in the studio, also with John Miller at Ice House Recording over in Lawrenceville. Great environment. He sort of guided us into the recording world. I appreciate that. At the very least, that's an awesome thing to do. So we had a couple shots at it. The recordings that I really like in retrospect were these kind of like day-long, just getting the track down and then maybe doing a little bit of overdubbing. So like that, it just kind of catches some sort of a feeling within the day, and it definitely carries over into the recording. So I like that. That's not quite what we did this time around, although we did the tracking and it was live tracking. This most recent one is an album called All Fiction. It's 6 songs, so it's a little more involved than the previous releases. And that experience was remarkably different because all of the creativity happened afterwards, even though we're still playing our instruments, still singing. I'm still singing. And just the choices you can make afterward, it became more of I just think maybe just something that has a bunch of different layers and it has a more kind of conscientious approach. But it's varied. I think a hybrid of that in a great recording environment gives some pretty good results.
Cool. Adam, do you like to take control in the studio when it comes to your music?
Well, I think to a certain extent, and I'm definitely, I think a lot of people that know me would say I'm a control freak, not a freak, but I like to be in control of things. That being said, there are the people that played on the record are super talented, and they did a lot of awesome stuff that is within the structure and within what the song means. They're certainly their own thing. So I had some songs were more specific where everything is more, here's exactly what I want, but then some things were more, let's leave things open for interpretation and even improvisation within certain elements. So I would say for the most part, I like to be in control of the vision, sort of like the record Night Vision, but also
Shout out
to plugging myself. But I had some amazing direction on the record, and the musicians that played on it were just phenomenal.
Some CD players, right?
Some CD players, yeah.
Mm.
So we play with a lot of the same musicians, and we have a lot of the same friends, and really it's a blessing because I know these guys are not just saying this for the cameras, but these guys are my buds. But yeah, we had a lot of the same people. Frank, who plays with your band, he's in New York now. He's on the record. I'll give a couple quick shout-outs. I'll try not to miss anybody. Erica Johnson singing on the record. John Graz, amazing dude. Jay Constable playing on the record on all the drums. Lloyd Willisey goes by Cookie. This guy, he's great, and he just he makes everything his own. He shreds. So hopefully that's everybody. I mean, I was on it too. I was on it too. But John Miller, of course. Hopefully that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But Dylan, who is not on the record. I didn't know him yet, actually. But we were musical match. We just kind of hit things off musically. But you'll be meeting him in a couple minutes here whenever we play.
We'll get to that.
Sorry, but getting a little ahead of
Good.
myself. Yeah.
Well, we're almost there. Only a few more questions left. Where can we find? Oh, actually, what's coming up in the future for each of you in your projects? Can we expect anything on the horizon, Mike?
Sure. I've recently kind of got into some songwriting, coming up with more ideas to work out with the band, and sort of in the process of doing that, I also create my own videos, my music videos. So we have some for As Ladders. We have 3 at the moment that have passed all of the hurdles of this sucks. What the hell's wrong with you? You know, why are you making these videos within the band? But they've passed the levels of approval. So they're out there. I spend time doing both of those things, and then the band itself, we're gonna start playing again shows with some new music, maybe some new. Maybe I'll drop the guitar, sing a little bit. Late summer in the fall.
Adam, what can we expect from A Money?
Well, you're going to expect some fantastic performances. humbly speaking, we'll be playing some more shows.
Humbly speaking. I didn't realize you were speaking humbly.
Humbly.
Okay.
Well, it's what I'm proud of. So we'll be doing some more shows in the near future, and hopefully solo and with the whole band, and doing that, and then hopefully maybe next summer go back in the studio, and a lot of songs that are ready to cook up, but just kind of get the planning and process. So some of that, and hopefully a music video in the near future.
Great. Where can we find information for each of your musical projects?
Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagram. Most of the stuff is, we'll say, A Money in the downtown city, or AM downtown city. Find it online, Spotify as well. As Ladders, I'm engaged in Instagram, and it's just rapid fire social media, but as _ladders on Instagram is probably the best place. And then YouTube and Spotify are also great places to listen to the music that we've done.
Great. So we already heard from Mike and As Ladders. Adam, would you like to perform a song?
I'd be happy to.
And we'll invite Mr. Dylan Davey up to the stage too. What's the name of this next song you're going to play here, Adam?
It is Electric Serenade.
All right, up next is Adam Merulli with Dylan Davey performing Electric Serenade. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having us on the podcast, Dan. My name's Adam. This is Mr. Dylan Davey on the guitar, and this song is on our album. It's called Electric Serenade. Electric serenade, we listen while we play through this colorful parade we call our lives. See, this beauty that we made is a memento. We need to give love to get love, hold on tight to let go. We need to learn to forgive and forget, learn to live and let live without regret. Look, we're all superstars, even if we haven't made it yet. Electric serenade, sparks fly, slow motion melting. In the city of rivers and bridges and gentrification, we struggle to survive, while the other 99, they sit atop the hill so high. But don't hate what isn't perfect. I won't let some woman in high heels and a tight black dress tell me I'm not worth it. Electric serenade from the rooftops to the road, to the people in the crowd, to those who have been built up and to those who have been bruised and beaten down. We sing a serenade for the high wire acts, record breakers, the sword swallowers, and the insomniacs. 'Cause I can't sleep at night. I'm thinking about what's gone wrong, and I just wanna make it right. Electric serenade, we listen while we play through this colorful parade we call our lives. You see, this beauty that we made is a memento. We need to give love to get love, hold on tight to let go. We need to learn to forgive and forget, learn to live and let live without regret. Look, we're all superstars, even if we haven't made it yet. And we're singing, don't give up on me, I won't give up on you.
give up on me. I won't give up on you. Don't give up on me. I won't give up on you. Don't give up on me. I won't give up on you. So we escape for the moments of fortune and fame, and when we're on stage we try so hard to forget all the pain. We're singing our hearts out for glory and the electric serenade. So we ride onto our cubicles, yeah, we ride on into work. We punch in and we punch out just to wonder what for. Then it's back to the grind. We give and we take, we build and we break, we grin and we shake, we yearn and we ache, we do what it takes, we struggle in vain. Remember our names, cause you know one day we'll all be treated the same. Electric serenade, we listen while we play through this colorful parade we call our lives. See this beauty that we made is a memento. We need to give love to get love, hold on tight to let go. We need to learn to forgive and forget, learn to live and let live without regret. Look, we're all superstars, even if we haven't made it yet. And we're singing do 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 do. Whoa, do 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 do. Whoa, do 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 do. Whoa. You know it's gonna get better. Whatever they tell you, it's gonna be all right. Just keep believing. Keep believing in yourself. Electric serenade, we listen while we play through this colorful parade we call our lives. See this beauty that we made is a memento. We need to give love to get love, hold on tight to let go. We need to learn to forgive and forget, learn to live and let live without regret. Look, we're all superstars, superstars, even if we haven't made it yet.
Hi, I'm Angela Autumn. This is my song called Colorado. Gonna move to Colorado tomorrow. Gonna slide in while the city's sleeping sound. I don't care if I gotta beg or steal or borrow. Gonna drive until my wheels they hit the ground. Hit the ground. see by your sleepy eyes. Your sun is setting fast and low. You better go to Colorado, Colorado. I'm gonna move to Denver, Colorado. I'm gonna slide in where the city's sleeping sound. Don't care if I got beg or steal or beg or steal or borrow. I'm gonna see those big bright lights shining down. Colorado, Colorado,
Well, that was wonderful, Angela. That was a
Thank
that
you.
was a great performance there.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you can make it on today. And why don't we just hop right into it here and talk about what what drew you to music? What do you remember from your childhood? Do you remember anything as a kid that made you realize you wanted to do music?
I pretty much grew up in a very remote location, so I didn't have a lot to do. And I think playing guitar kind of just became something that I would do by myself for fun. And of course, I grew up listening to all of my dad's records, like Neil Young and James Taylor. So, but yeah, like my dad loved James Taylor, so it was definitely in my veins a little bit.
I hear that, I hear a lot of like Joni Mitchell. Is that something that's an influence?
Yeah, she was like a later in a later influence, but I love her tunings, and I think she just comes up with incredible, chord structures and song structures, and we can only aspire to be as great as Joni Mitchell. So,
well, that's really cool. When did you decide you wanted to, write music and perform live and, be a musician? Is there a specific time where you thought of that?
Yeah, so I was always like pretty theatrical and wanted to be on stage and like the center of attention, but being a singer-songwriter is something I didn't expect to be doing. But I definitely knew before college that I would pursue it after college. And I did it like all through high school and into college, and I started writing songs when I was 15. So ever since then, I've kind of just stayed with it, and I'm happy that I have kept with it.
Did you ever take
rewarding
like lessons or anything growing up? Or?
Yeah, so I started playing guitar at a young age. I think I was 10 or so, and then I kind of stopped taking lessons. Right. I think I broke my arm or something happened. It was weird, and I couldn't take them. So, but yeah, the guitar came before the singing.
Did you think that benefited you for maybe like taking lessons for a short period of time and then breaking your arm, not taking lessons, and kind of force you to develop your own kind of style and your own kind of playing? Did that happen at all?
I wouldn't say that breaking my arm did anything or had a profound impact on, but I would say that stepping away from lessons and just like getting out in front of people really changed the way I looked at like my instrument and my voice, because I figured out that it was something that people liked, and like they would tell you good job, and it like felt good to do. It'd make people happy. So
there's nothing better than people applauding.
Right.
Like, that's such a good feeling, Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
It's definitely like I'm just like an adrenaline junkie. Like I run and I like sing on stage. So after you get that feeling of like people like screaming for you, even if it's just your friends. It's kind of like you like chase that all the time. Like, how am I going to get that feeling again?
It is really an addiction. And like, I think like as musicians, we don't often get paid well. And people like often tell me like, why do you do that all the time? And it's like, well, because what else am I going to do? You know, like what else is there?
Climb Mount
you know?
Everest or something.
Yeah, like I guess I could do that, or I could play a guitar, you know, and that seems pretty fun too.
Which
you know?
one is going to be worse?
Yeah, right.
Like on
Hypothermia
stage
or calluses on my hands.
calluses my fingers, or like one person in the crowd who's like on their phone. Like, oh, I'm sort of interested in.
I guess that's the opposite end of the spectrum now. It's like we get a lot of times where we, you know, get acceptance and like get applause, but then there are times where it's like pretty rough.
Yeah, it's like a song. It's like the battle of being a songwriter, because you want to play your songs as they are, and then you want to combat what you just talked about, like people interested in like loud, you know, like everyone wants to dance. So it's like, oh, do I get a band or do I just stay doing this solo thing? And like, I think people these days maybe favor the band thing, or at least in Pittsburgh. I don't know. That's how I feel.
You know, I feel like, especially, you know, in the internet age, there's so many different like genres, and you find your niche, you know, like even if there's not like, you know, even if Pittsburgh isn't really like a huge, like, you know, I'm not saying this is true, but if it wasn't a singer-songwriter town, you'd still probably find like-minded people, just because there's so many people, you know, you don't have to get pigeonholed, you know?
Yes, like I know like Paul Luke, Morgan Arena, like Shane McLaughlin from Buffalo Rose, John Bindley, like those are all people that I look up to and like who have kind of helped me like detail my path as a songwriter. So there's definitely a community of songwriters here, which I'm like thankful for.
What is your songwriting process like?
Ooh, good question. I have all my songs as voice memos. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what I'll do is like pick up my guitar and go into my room and hit record, and then I save it and I like get as far along in the song as I can, and then I'll come back and check it out later and like listen to what I like and don't like. And sometimes those are just bits and pieces that I'll like copy and paste into another song, or sometimes it's just like good enough and I can play the whole thing. So
yeah, I do the same thing actually. Like I'll voice record something, then forget it for like 2 years, come back to it and be like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know, and then maybe like not even use it as a whole song, but like punch it into, you know, a different song or something.
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, right. So why don't we take a break and have you perform another song? Would that be cool?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back with Angela Autumn performing a second song here.
Okay, this song is called Rascal.
You're a rascal in the nth degree. Your heart's like an arrow pointed straight at me. I could have known you from a mile away. I can tell by the books you read and the bands that you played. I could tell you spent so much time alone. Do you notice how it feels to be young? You spend so much time alone. Do you even have a feeling in your bones? write one together, but you better be prepared to bleed. I said, you spent so much time alone. Do you know just how it feels to be on you? You spent so much time alone. Do you even have a feeling in your bones? In your bones. Peanut butter jelly in the morning. I make a cup of coffee too. How do you take it, man? I sing about the spring and summer in your eyes and arms. I'll be drunk and I'll be drunk and I won't be alone. Won't be alone. You're a rascal in the nth degree. Your heart's like an arrow pointed straight at me. Pointed straight at me. Pointed straight at me.
And we're back here with Angela Autumn. She just performed her song Rascal. What was that song about?
That song was just about this whole culture, I guess you'll call it, of hitting like the West and kind of exploring. And I think people use it as like a disguise, like, oh, I'm this person who does cool stuff, but I'm gonna meet people this way, but then it like deep down they're actually living a damaging lifestyle. And that song was just about an individual that I met who was like living a damaging lifestyle that looked really great from the outside,
I think we
but
might
it
know the
was
same
not.
person. No,
I think we do.
Yeah, maybe.
But I knew that like, even though it seemed appealing, the lifestyle and the individual, like I realized that you should probably take care of yourself, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
So
Well, that's cool. So have you ever played in bands, or have you always been kind of like a solo act?
when I was a kid, I played in a couple of bands.
What were those like?
I was in a ska band and like a ska cover band, and I was in a blues band. So those were my two bands, and haven't really played in a band since then.
Do you prefer playing, by yourself, or do you like, sharing the stage?
I like sharing the stage. I just like feeding off the energy of other musicians. So once the right folks come along, I think I'd really like to do that in the future.
Very cool. Do you have any recordings out there?
Yeah, so I just released a single called In the Promised Land. It's on my Bandcamp. I also have a limited release, which is kind of like an EP, I guess, and it has 5 songs I recorded at the church with Dave Heideck. And they're available at my shows. So just like come see me, hit me up on Facebook or like Instagram message. You can get one.
What was the recording process like for you for both of those projects?
I detest the studio in that you have to sing to a click track. It's like very arduous. You have to continually like redo the guitar and like do like 15 vocal takes, but I understand why that's important. So just kind of like getting my feet wet with that process was, I think, good, especially for somebody like me who wants to do this for a long time. So
Very
necessary evil recording.
That's right. Anything coming up in the future that you'd like to promote?
Nothing coming up in the immediate future. I'm actually going to take a trip, a road trip out west, and I'll be back in September. And I'm doing a show where I'm opening for Raylan Nelson at Liveberg Studio. So that's what'll be next. It's a whiles away, but
where can we find information about your music?
On my Facebook page, facebook.com, Angela Autumn Music.
All right, we'll put a little link at the bottom, and then it'll look real official. Well, Angela Autumn, it was great talking with you. Would you like to play one more song for us?
Of course.
What's this song called?
This song is called Gloria Jean.
All right, we'll be right back with Angela Autumn performing Gloria Jean.
Gloria Jean, it's been a long time since you had someone share your own mind. I know you like him, I know you do. I know he cares for you too. But Gloria Jean, bet you weren't thinking all the consequences of your youth. You dropped like a top, baby, spun didn't stop you, just looking for some kind of truth. I seen the grasses grow in the meadow, sown like army greens. Come with me where the woods and the willows glow like kerosene, glowing gold and green for my Gloria Jean. You blew out the candles, threw out the window the day you turned 16. Hopped in a car, found yourself a little lover. You didn't even know how to say his last name. But Gloria Jean, you were my coffee, you were my lonely star in the morning. You blow like a bluebird flying through the night. You trying to get back to day's dawning light. Catholic school never did nothing for you, it only made you mean. Come with me where the saints and the sinners glow like kerosene, glow for you and me, my glory. Ooh la la la, 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 yeah, yeah. You're so pretty, babe, when you pick your pieces up off the floor. You're so pretty, babe, when you pick your pieces up off the floor. Drinking cold coffee, smoke out the window the day you turned 18. Drinking cold coffee, smoke out the window the day you turned 18. I've seen the grasses grow in the meadow, sown